Right, good morning, welcome back. Honda Goldwing GL1500 clutch replacement. Now whether you need this video as a tutorial to do yours or whether you're watching it for entertainment, I'm going to start from this point where we've got the engine sat in front of me with the cover off and access to the clutch, because most of the time we know how to take our panels off, we know how to get access to something, and we know how to take the bolts out and take the cover off. Not going to teach you all that, you can work that out for yourself. It's when you get to this point you might need a little bit of guidance on what comes next, what the anatomy of it is in there, and how it comes apart. Right, before I start pulling it apart, I'm just going to brush a bit of acetone on this old gasket just to start soaking and loosening it up so it'll scrape off without any force, and I need to put the new one on. You can use acetone or brake cleaner, or there are even some specialised products that are specifically for soaking old stuck-on gaskets. Whatever you use, soak it so it comes off easily rather than force it, grind away at it and damage the surface. There we are, that can soak while we're working on the clutch. Right, this is your lifter rod or push rod, and you probably would have taken this out when you took the cover off. Now this little item is the lifter piece. It slides out next, and rather conveniently that only orientates one way around. You've got a chamfer one end and a little wire circlip that end, so you physically can't put it in the wrong way. So that's your lifter piece. Take that out, put it next to your lifter rod. Next thing is to remove this square lifter plate, and it comes out with the bearing. It's 4 10mm bolts. Lift it out. Right, now this is the nut we want undone, and it's held in place by one tab on the lock washer, and the lock washer, as you can see, locates over this stud in the basket itself. So take a very fine sharp chisel, just tap that away to get a little gap, and then bend that back so you can release the nut. There we are. Pop that little tab out of the way. There it is. There we go. Now as this nut's done up to 130 Newton meters and it's not in the frame to hold it still, I reckon if I put a bar on that and go to undo it, it's just going to rotate the engine and throw it off the lift, and that wouldn't be cool. So with some common sense, I'm going to ratchet strap it down to the lift first so it doesn't do that. Let's put that one on there. Between those two. There we are. It works. Right, let's take that out. And usually the washer that's behind it will stick. There it is, yeah, careful not to lose that. Now at this point you should be able to just pull that out. All the centre of it comes out as one go. None of it comes apart, you'll see in a sec. That's your clutch pack right there. And as you can see, looking at this, it all's held together in one go. You've got a circlip, there's your diaphragm spring, it's one piece. Doesn't come apart until you release that circlip there. All that is one single clutch pack. Now as with this tab washer just now, there's a washer behind it, and with the oiliness of everything it sticks to it. So when you pull it out, it's hanging on the back. In fact, it even does it now, look. So make sure that when you pull it out, it doesn't drop off and roll away. That's important, but there's one in there that's even more important. In fact, it's critical. It's when you take the clutch pack out, there's another washer that can stick to the back of the pack. I'll show you this. Right, on the back of the clutch pack, if we turn it over, there's a little machined recess just here. And what you might find when you take your clutch pack out is a washer stuck in there as the oil all over it has sucked that washer off the shaft that it's on, and it will be clinging to the back. And you can lose it and it disappear on the floor. And it's this washer just here. It can get dragged off with the clutch pack. As you can see, it's splined in there. It's rounded on the outside, flat machined on the inside, so it's orientated flat side in. Make sure if it does accidentally come off, put it back on the spline, nice and neat. If you don't fit this, if you forget about it or don't notice it's gone, the clutch just won't work. There. And as you can see, clutch pack is effectively a sealed unit, all in one lump. And there's the diaphragm spring. We all recognise those. And there's a circlip there that holds it in place. We all recognise that. So how to compress that spring enough to release the circlip so you can take the two castings apart and then release all the plates from inside. Well, it's another special tool, a Honda specialised tool with a special part number. And I haven't got one, but I have got a plan. And it involves using a Harley-Davidson oil filter wrench. One of them. Now this trick isn't my little nugget. I did learn this from somebody else, and apparently it's a thing. Apparently it works. You just need a big vise or a press. I'll use the vise because it's right here. And you pop your clutch pack into your vise. Let's just clean that off. Any filings in my clutch. You just pop your clutch pack in the vise with the circlip holes, eyelets uppermost so you can get to them. Then put your Harley-Davidson oil filter wrench over the clutch diaphragm spring and orientate the filter wrench so the hole in it exposes the holes in the circlip. Do that up just enough. Take the circlip off like that and then carefully release the spring. There we are. That's it. And with the circlip removed, we take it apart. Spring plate. It's perfect. Right, this clutch, as you might imagine, is absolutely like brand new. All of the friction plates are bang on up to spec. There is no wear on this clutch whatsoever. And when we look at the friction plates, fine, no wear at all. The steel plates, fine, no wear at all. In fact, they're not even polished off, which you normally get after about 20,000 miles. They're perfect, just like they come out of the packet. Absolutely brand new, still got the cross hatching on them from manufacture. So the steel plates are fine, they're perfect. We can use those along with the spring plate as well, absolutely bang on. But the friction plates, well, there's no wear on them whatsoever. They have been sitting for about 27 years doing absolutely nothing. And what I would be concerned about is we start using the bike again daily and they start to break up because the material itself has just degraded over time even though it hasn't worn. So I will replace the friction plates. I've got a brand new set of genuine Honda friction plates over there soaking in fresh engine oil overnight. I'll swap them over and put the fresh ones in with the original steel plates and I'll have an absolutely brand new clutch in my Goldwing. is an order to these, and if you get a manual you'll see that it's all completely laid out. There's one single unique plate goes on first, and then after that you put the spring plate on top of that. Right, now that's the pack reassembled, and it's not just a case of throwing it all back together. There are 4 different kinds of disc in there. You've got the damper plate, that big double steel thing, and you've got 3 different unique kinds of friction disc, and they go in specific places. So take a look at this diagram. This will show you exactly what I mean. You've got disc A, disc B and disc C. There are 7 of A, there's 1 of B and 2 of disc C, and it's important, in fact critical, that they go in the right exact place in the pack, and that diagram in the manual will tell you exactly where they go. And once they're all assembled in the right order, sat there in a nice neat stack, you meet the next problem. Right, unfortunately now this is a tricky bit. You cannot just put the diaphragm spring back on, put it in the vise, clip the clip back in place and insert it into the engine, because it won't fit. This clutch pack will have to be centrally aligned by the basket itself. There's nothing to align that other than the engine. So I've got to take that now, as it is, carefully shove it into the basket and allow these grooves to be aligned perfectly by the clutch basket itself. So it all sits up nice and central. It centralizes all the plates perfectly. Then very carefully take it out, set it down, put the spring on, put the clip in over on the vise, and then hopefully nothing's moved, it's all still in alignment, and it will fit perfectly into the engine. Wish me luck. Right, pick a spot there. And just all the plates will pick up and align themselves as you wriggle it in. Right, as you feel that working. And the last plate has got bigger tabs than the rest of them, so that goes into the final spot. There it is. Excellent. In. Done. Now I've got to get that back out again without any of it moving. That's easier said than done. Right, hopefully nothing moved there. Diaphragm spring. And that's the collar that the circlip sits in. Goes on next. We'll take the circlip with us and move this over to the vise. See if we can press it together, get the circlip into place without any of it moving. Right. Circlip pliers through the tool, lock that in. There's some light on it. So. See if that circlip's properly seated. Yep, perfect. Bang on. Right, that was a bit of a faff just to get the circlip in properly, but it's there, properly seated. Everything's solid, one piece. Now if this shifted, even by a fraction between taking it out and putting it up there on the vise to put the clip in, then it won't fit now. So, wish me luck. Let's see how we did. Yay. Bingo. Right, washer in first. Then the lock washer. And that hole aligns with a post in the casing. Just like that. And the nut on. (130 Newton meters) that needs to be. That is going to be a proper test of my clutch holding tool that I made yesterday. Let's see if it works. Yes, baby. Need a tool, make a tool. And with these multi-tab washers, you're going to look for one that's going to sit dead flat with the flat of the nut. So for instance, not that one, because it's sitting at an angle, so's that. You want that one that's going to sit nice and flat with the flat of the nut. And you only need to bend one, because that's all the factory bends. Just bend it like that. There. And then lift the plate in. Now when you put the lifter plate in, it doesn't centre on the bolts, so don't tighten those up straight away. Leave them so there's a bit of movement, because it centres on the bearing in the shaft, and it centres on that, which is the lifter piece. You pop that in, it's got a chamfer on the inside, which locates it. Wiggle it in. Just let it find its centre. Pop it all the way in. There's a little circlip there, as I said, stops it going in too far. All the way in. Then that has centred the lifter plate, and then you can torque up the bolts. And they're 10 Newton meters. Don't overdo them. That's it.